On social media, I want people to see me, my positive side, my work, and others. But in real life, I have also my problems and my
struggles, opinions, and many more.
So we tend to be more careful about what we post, and we tend to hide something that is more fragile to us, like opinions and also struggles and personality, because we don't really see that it is as a positive side of us, and people tend to have different opinion on something, and maybe they will say that our opinion is controversial or something. Yeah, and that's why we probably hide
something on social media. The freedom to speech is not equal to the freedom to mislead everyone. So judgment, backlash, misinterpretations, hoax, and many more. It's something that we can control at the first step.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome back to Boarding Talk. I'm Hamam and I have my co-hosts here, Rika and Anggi.
Hello everyone.
Hello. How are you today?
Great, Alhamdulillah. We're really interested to have this discussion today.
Yeah, the same here. I think this is going to be a fun and deep conversation. Yeah.
Great, Alhamdulillah. So today we're gonna talk about digital identity. Are we the same online and offline? What do you guys think about this theme?
This is the interesting theme. We know that a lot of people have a different digital identity with a personal real-life identity. And I do have some social media like Instagram, Facebook, and many more. And I do also differentiate myself in online and offline. And what do you think, Anggi, about that?
Yeah, I think we all agree that we have social media, Instagram, TikToks, like he mentioned. And I think the digital identity that we showed online, they are different than our like real life identity, personality. Yeah. So they will be connected, but there are some differences. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. So based on your experiences, are you one of those who differentiates yourself online and in real life?
As I mentioned before, I have a different personality, real life and online or social media personality. I do more private in social media, but in real life, my friends know that I'm more casual persons than more social persons. It is because I think I need to create a brand image in social media like Instagram. I want to seen as a person who do something, so I can differentiate myself in social media. And what about you, Hamam and Anggi?
Okay, so for me, my experience, I also differentiate myself on social media and real life, because on social media, I want people to see me, my positive side, my work, and others. But in real life, I have also my problems and my
struggles, opinions, and many more. And what about you, Anggi?
Yeah, definitely. I agree with what Rika and Hamam said, because in social media, we actually just perform like we are on stage, right? And with real life, it's just our authentic self. Yeah.
But what do you think about why people act differently online than they do in real life?
It is because we want to see as someone in social media, while in real life we cannot hide something. Like we have 20 photos filled in real life, but we only post once. Or we can do a bad hair days in real life, but in social media we can do filters, we can add something to spice up the photos and many more. So I think all in all, why people act differently than they do in real life, because we want to show something, we want to see as something, and we want to recognize as someone. Yeah. And what do you think?
I also have some correlation with what Rika just said about how we can filter. Yeah, we can filter, we can edit our self on social media, on in a digital identity wise. We can edit, we can change ourselves, we can shape however we want. And I think that's also why people expect us to be perfect.
Something more.
Yeah, something
Right.
more, something perfect. And that's why it's not really authentic. It's just
Something we create.
Yeah, it's just something we create. The pressure that people expect on us online are much
media.
higher, yeah, much
Right.
higher than offline.
So, do you guys often hide your part of yourself, like opinions, struggles, and personality that you wouldn't do offline?
Okay, so for myself, I do hide parts of myself online, like my struggles, my personality, because I want just post wisely what I want to post, because I want people, my friends, my family, see me online, that my positive side.
Great. Me too. Family matters, sensitive issues, opinions. I don't do that on social media, but in real life, I spoke clearly in my friends. And what about you, Mary?
Yeah, I think it's also about, I refer to what I said earlier about the social expectation on social media. It's far too much, and there's also this thing called digital record. Yeah, we cannot erase that, even though we delete the post. So we tend to be more careful about what we post, and we tend to hide something that is more fragile to us, like opinions and also struggles and personality, because we don't really see that it is as a positive side of us, and people
Right.
tend to have different opinion on something, and maybe they will say that our opinion is controversial or something.
Right.
Yeah, and that's why we probably hide
Something on social
media. Yeah.
And to add Angie's opinions, I think digital record. People tend to twist our digital record if they want to. So we need to control ourselves to have a good digital record. And I think from our opinion, we agree that we often worry about judgments, about backlash and misinterpretations online. And what do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I think it's also how we present ourselves. We have to control how we present ourselves. It's not really something that social media is not really just a negative thing. We cannot avoid that. We cannot
100%
avoid
agree.
that. Yeah, we cannot avoid that. But we have to control about what we post online, and we also need to talking about the digital identity, because we need to find something that show that who we truly are. Because digital identity, we tend to follow others blindly, and we forget about who we are. So I think we need to control, and we need to find limitation on which to follow, so we don't have to force something on us. Yeah. What about you, Hamam?
I wouldn't like that I kind of worry about judgment or what people see about me, but at the same time, I just want to post what I want to post. Like, I want to become myself, and I don't really care about what others' opinion, honestly.
So actually, we have a different personality against. So I think to conclude that we also often worry about the judgment, backlash, and misinterpretation itself. So I think the freedom to speech is not equal to the freedom to mislead everyone. So judgment, backlash, misinterpretations, hoax, and many more. It's something that we can control at the first step. So to add that, we also know that we have digital communities, like we know of fandoms like activisms or hobby groups that help us shape our identity, again, digital identity, especially through social norms like symbol, group dynamics, and Indonesia. And what do you guys think about the digital communities itself?
Okay, so for digital communities, once I had experience about gaming communities, and there I had a friend, I had a partner. So when I had even gaming event, I had from that communities I gained my sponsorship from ROG, Republic of Gamers. So digital communities really helps me for my studies.
Personal lives,
Yes.
right? I think it could be beneficial if we can search the best opportunity. And what about you? Do you have any experience about the digital communities?
Yeah, I myself, I like artistic things.
Okay.
I like singers. I like to draw. I like yeah, just anything creative. And I tend to join the fandoms if for
What
their
kind of
music.
fandom do you follow?
I used to follow. I was a Directioner.
Okay.
I like One Direction.
Okay.
And yeah, I think it also helped me practice my English, even though it's not really verbal. It wasn't really verbal because we weren't active on calls like Roblox these days that uses voice chat. But we used to be active on like Twitter, like writing and reading, yeah, things. So that's why the digital communities, they also helped me in a way. They helped me, in this case, learn English. They helped me understand their culture in this global world. But however, in some cases, I tend to blur their personality as mine, because I know that for a case, if I don't know their opinion on things, I will not think about it at all. And I know that if not the majority of them agree on such opinion, I also will not, and I will agree on that like blindly, because yeah, I think there's a positive side on it, but I think there's also a negative side where our personality can be blurred. Yeah.
Right. I think I agree, 100% agree with Anggi again. Nowadays, we always have a pro side and a con side, the bright side and the dark sides. So maybe in the pro sides, we have digital communities to help us search and sort out any new opportunities to learn English, to have a sponsorship and many more. But in the con side, in the dark side, we know that some people force themselves to fit and adapt in that kind of digital communities. Like maybe people tend to adapt and more to want to fit in culture, society, religion, so they force themselves to do and fit in them. And what do you guys think about that? People adapting in their online persona to fit in regional or maybe religious community or community norms?
Yeah, for me, I think it's also important to adapt ourselves in those cases, in those stances. However, yeah, like we have to follow certain norms when we arrive in a place. We cannot just like put on a bikini in Indonesia. It's not really normal here, right? Right. But it's not about restrictions. It's about minding the place. Okay.
Again, it's cultural sensitivity.
Yeah. It's cultural sensitivity. You can like bikinis, but you have to know when or where to wear it. So that's what it is. You need to find your true self, but you also need to adapt on it while not losing yourself. I think that's how it is.
What do you think, Amam, when people adapt too much to fit in such a cultural or communities, digital communities?
I think it's so natural when people adapt to new communities, new environment, that people have to still have confidence in themselves, have their identity. So
Okay, I think it's natural for people to have their self to adapt in such a culturals, right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, I think we talked about cons, we talked about pros, and many more. And social media and identify creation sounds like interesting kind of words for us now, but we also know and we also agree that there are real dangers like misinterpretations, like misinformations, hoax, doxings, identity theft, and many more. And what do you guys think? Where should we draw the line between the public persona and personal privacy? And does the personal branding really matters for us in nowadays?
Yeah.
Okay, so for me, when we have to draw the line between public persona versus personal privacy, there is two points, like family matters and your identity, because we have to protect our identity, and for family matters, like problems and others, like it should not to share
Online.
Online, publicly.
Right. And what do you think?
I think it's like a double-edged sword. Yeah, I think because we have to maximize our potential on social media too. That's why personal branding exists. Like people nowadays, companies, they also like look up on our account to see how we are, to see how we present ourselves, not in real life, but also in social media too. Yeah,
right.
that's why personal branding matters. And maybe that's why I have 2 accounts on Instagram.
Okay, too much information.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry, but yeah, I just want to say that even in social media, you have layers. Like on the first account, you may perform. You may perform for what the public will see of you, what the people you don't really know see of you, and create an image of you. That's why personal branding, I think that's the kind of place that we should target the content on. Meanwhile, on the second account, we can freely express, not really freely, but maybe like more comfortable, share our opinions and also like our daily lives with the close friends that we have on that account. However, on those accounts, even though we have layers on that, they're still not us. They're still not all of us, all parts
They're
of
still
us.
created by us.
Yeah. And we cannot also share like personal privacy that will have a chance on being misused, because that is a high risk situation. Yeah.
Again, I think as Anggi mentioned before, maybe we have second account in our Instagrams because we know which content that want to see by strangers and which content want to see by our friends, our close friends, and many more. And we know as on our first Instagram that our content can be algorithms to others can see. So what do you think about the algorithm itself? Do they shape your identity by showing only some things to others or not?
Okay, I want to hear your opinion first, Ika.
Okay.
Because you're such an interesting person.
Okay. In my opinion, algorithms is something that create what we see, and what we see create what we are today.
Yes.
So our identity in social media also created by our algorithms. Maybe we can say we love hard music, we love jazz, we love something like that. Is it really that you like, or is it something that created by algorithms? So you like that?
Yeah. I also agree on that because algorithm, it connects on like how social media works. Yeah, and social media is something that we consume every day. It's not about factual reasoning. It's more of like interaction on posts, like commenting, likes, and such thing. And that's how algorithm works. I think it's how people. It's what the people are interested in that time. So I think this is also like a funny case. People at one time they will say that. Buldak, do you know Buldak?
Buldak challenge.
Yeah, Buldak challenge, Samyang Buldak.
Right.
They will say at one time that Buldak is too spicy on them because people say so, people do challenges on them. But after some time, they will just say, oh, it's not really too spicy and I don't really like Buldak anymore. It's not really that great, because that's what the algorithm shows them. That's what the social media shows them. It's how one person opinion could change others' perspective too, others' opinion too. And yeah, I think that's how it is. Algorithm could shape our
digital identity too.
Digital identity and preferences too. Yeah.
Okay.
Of course, but we have to carefully about algorithms, because algorithms it made by AI, and we have to be careful. We have to control what we want to see, what we want to consume, because it can mix our identity.
Okay, I think we agree how scary social media nowadays, and we know we have the rights to express ourselves, but on the other side, we know that we need to control what we say and what we want to post in social media. And again, I want to ask to you guys, what do you think that people can reclaim consistency in social media without losing the freedom of expressions? Because as I mentioned before, the freedoms of speech, the right of speech is not equal to the freedom to mislead everyone's. And what do you think about that? Maybe Hamam?
How can people reclaim consistency
without losing freedom
of expressions? I don't really know about it, but for myself, about freedom of expression, like as I said before, I just want to post what I want. I don't really care about what others say about me, but also I have to post it wisely, what I want to post, like that. Yeah. How about you, Andy?
Regarding freedom of expression, yeah, it's not really something negative.
Yes.
And it's what we seek every day, actually, yeah. We have to express ourselves, but we also need to remind ourselves that there are limitations on what we have to say online. Maybe we can voice out our opinion without having to say the negative side that will have controversies around it. But that's still our opinion. We still express our opinion,
our
voices. But yeah, we still need to mind what we say. And so yeah, that's how we should wrap our opinion. That's how we should package our opinion. It's still our voice. We still express our emotion, our voices, but it has to be nicely packaged. It has to be nicely wrapped so that the audience, the people who sees it, they will not see it as a controversy, and it will not have to be a limitations on us. Yeah.
Great, definitely. So I think we also know that the freedom of our expressions and social media can be of two parts, negative sides and the bright sides. So as someone who chronically online do social media too much too in nowadays, and we know that there's also the two sides of coins of that chronically online. So what do you guys think? What you define as a healthy digital identity?
I think a healthy digital identity is where you can find something new, where you can find a new hobby, a new friends without having to be forced on making a new personality that people expect of you. I think people need to be just be who they truly are, but in what they are, they can find new hobbies that resonates with them and not be forced on them. What about you, Karika?
Right. I think a healthy digital identity for me is something that can give me any negative effects. So I think I do social media, I do chronically online because I want entertainment. I want to do something fun. Because in real life, I do so much perfectly. I'm a perfectionist people. So in social media, I want something that can entertain me. So I think the healthy digital identity is something that can give me a negative effects. So what about you, Hamam? What defines a healthy digital identity for you?
For me, healthy digital identity is about you can express yourself freely, but you still control yourself, have a voice for yourself, and yeah, like that. So you can freely express yourself, but still has control.
Okay, talking about control, in this modern world, it's not really just us adults who consume digital content and such. What do you think about the young people, the kids who uses students who uses such platforms to express themselves? Do you think there are limitations on or prohibitions on what should schools teach on them about identity, privacy, ethics online or such thing?
I think it takes two sides, Andy. It start with the grassroots communities. It starts from the first body of the young people itself. It starts with the family. So the parents should teach the kids how to draw a line between the digital identity and the personal identity. It can be beneficial, of course. We know that young kids today have $1 billion for months just being or just have a personal branding, a good personal branding. And we also know that this digital identity can be a new opportunity for the kids. So we cannot prohibit them to also have their life in social media, but as the parents, we need to draw a line where we should control. They need to be supervised. They need to know who, when, and what things we can post on social media, and do the same, and ask the same with the teacher on schools, because the teacher is carry the same weight, the same burden as the parents and family in the home. So parents also need to teach them how to be wise in social media. And what about you, Hamam?
About me, of course, here at ICMS, the students are, it's a boarding school and the students are living here 24/7. And I think for teachers' role is it has to teach it in the curriculum, because the students have to study about technology, about their how do they post wisely on social media, act wisely, and of course it has to teach to them.
Yeah, I think that's also such interesting moves that ICMS do, because I also know that ICMS have like digital Saturday, if I'm not mistaken. I think we can slip that in our curriculum, but speaking of generally, I think that the teachers and the parents, they have the same weight on this responsibility to monitor their children, their students, on what they should be posting and what contents they should be consuming, because at their age, they still cannot see what is wrong, what is right. So I think the young kids, they still should use the social media or any kind of online platform as long as it's under our supervising, the teachers and also the parent supervisor. Yeah, because we cannot really separate the digital things in life, because we also have to adapt on the modern technologies.
Right. Okay, I think we have the summary today, because we know that digital identity is essential things for nowadays, and we need to find a great opportunity in there, but we need to draw a line between the personal identity in real life and digital identity in social media. And what about you? Do you guys have something to add to summarize our discussion today?
Yeah, because we discussed how online and offline identities can differ, but we have to keep them balanced
between offline and online.
Yes. And how about you, Anggi?
For me, I think on digital identity, there will be layers. There will be parts where we show them when we are on stage, like we perform for the public consumption, and how our image are in their head. Then there will also be parts of us on social media as a digital identity, where we show a part of our true self, but it's all just interconnected, and it's not really us, because we as a real person will be much more comfortable to show our real identity, our personality in offline.
Okay, I think to summarize all of our opinions, lastly, we know that digital identity is a perfectly place for us to start off a new opportunity, but we need to control. We need to know where's the place we need to show ourselves, the real part of ourselves, and also when we need to show our personal branding in social media. So I think last for me, don't do anything just to search likes. Don't faking anything to your digital identity to searching thousands of likes, but try to find something that's beneficial for you and also beneficial for our environment.
Don't be reckless, guys.
Okay, so maybe that wraps up our talk about digital identity, and we hope our listeners reflect on their own online habits. And thank you for joining us in the special episode. Stay tuned and keep learning. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Until next time, everyone.
Bye.